The views and opinions expressed here are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. This podcast may contain adult language. Audience members' discretion is advised. Hello everyone, welcome to The Progressive Vibe. I'm your host Dottie here. Today is January 24th, 2021. This is Season 3, Episode 3, and the title is New Week, New President. Welcome everyone, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. As usual, I appreciate the love. It is definitely mutual. Hope everyone's been doing great. Hope your loved ones and your family, your friends, hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in. Again, new week, new president. So I'm kind of optimistic to say the least. Yeah, guys, welcome. We're gonna get right on into it here. And again, I wanted to share my thoughts on the new president, which is Joe Biden. Finally got certified and everything last week. He's only been there, I'm gonna just say a few days. It's really not even a full week yet, but I will say, so far, so steady. Of course, me being the progressive that I am, I always want him to take a step further, but he is taking the steps in the right direction. So I'll take that. I'll take that any day. So like I said, it is a new week. It is a new president. I'm still trying to wrap my mind on what I seen take place at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. It still just baffles my mind that actually occurred. But seems like they're holding people accountable, and I'm happy to see that. Hopefully more people that were in positions of power are going to suffer consequences too, because rightfully so. And yeah, so I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys and just my opinions on the job that, President Joe Biden is doing so far. Couple of issues that I wanted to speak about, which was the main one, COVID-19. I'm pretty sure everyone's been paying attention to that because it just is the thing to talk about in the news cycle. It's eating up everything in the news cycle, and rightfully so, because we've surpassed over 400,000 deaths, which is horrible on its, it's horrible on its own end. And then we have over 24 million cases here in the U.S., which is a bunch, And again, I'm going to keep saying this, it didn't have to get this bad. but yet here we are. But we can't dwell on the past. We can only look forward, and while we're looking forward, we need to be progressive and have bold policies that's going to impact people's lives directly. And it seems like Biden is again making that step towards that. He signed 2 executive orders to help. One was to help reduce hunger, and the other one was gradually expanding workers' rights. Obviously, I would like him to go a little bit further in expanding workers' rights, but again, a gradual step is better than no step at all. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is the lead scientist on this COVID-19, he seems to be back in the main role of being the lead scientist to address the virus. So that's a good thing. It seems like this administration is taking science and data a lot more serious than the previous administration. And you know me, guys, I'm all about science and facts, especially when you have data to back up those facts. And I never had any problem with Dr. Fauci. He's if you don't know his track record, he's served under Republican administrations as well as Democrats. So he's been in the game a long time, and to me, it's a reason why he's the lead scientist in this situation that we have going on. And I'm glad to see that he seems to be a little bit more free to speak the truth. We know the previous administration had trouble with the truth, and that's just me lightly putting it, you know. But I'm happy to see that. And my last thing that I will say is the Biden, the job he's doing, because again, he doesn't even have all his cabinet picks in. So, we got to look forward to that, to see where he's going to do with that. I mean, he hasn't been in office a full week. So, you got to let the man get his, wings under his belt, and let him, get time, and that's how I am. I'm just like, well, I'm ready to push Biden as far as we can push him. But in the meantime, too, I mean, we got to think about, well, he's just getting his feet in the door, and along with everything that transpired before he got into office, so it's a lot of stuff going on, and come to find out that the previous administration was again downplaying the severity of the coronavirus, and vaccine distribution seemed to be a little far-fetched, because it seems like that this administration, the current administration, it indicates that there was no game plan to begin with to address the coronavirus in its totality. So it's kind of like this administration, Biden's administration, it seems like they're starting from scratch. So, which, again, something that this big, it's a pandemic, and everything that has built up in Donald Trump's 4 years of being president, He has to get his feet in the door a little bit before I really be able to give a appropriate judgment on the job he's doing, if that makes any sense. But in the meantime, I will be addressing certain things that I think that he could go a lot further on. And, me talking about in my last week's episode, he has to stop using unity so much, because it's just so much unity you can have with a party, a Republican Party that's not the traditional Republican Party. And again, to me, a Republican Party is just, I feel the same way about the Republican Party as I felt before Donald Trump before he took the party over. But it just really, really made the party even worse. And so, I don't know. I hope that, Biden's so willing to work across the aisle. And, if we were in normal times, this would be appropriate. But I just don't think that this is the appropriate time to be reaching across the aisle on certain things. So like the $1.9 trillion package, I mean, this is something that's being crafted up, and it includes things like PPE money and relief money to average Americans, and expanding workers' benefits and food assistance and things like that. So why I know that we might not get everything that we want, it's important to push for these things, because it seems like, meaning the how big the package is, the broadness of the package. It's important to push for these things because, as data has shown, people want these big and bold progressive policies, whether that's reoccurring relief checks, whether that's just getting relief checks, another relief check, whether that's canceling student loans or forgiving student loans. Biden talked about him forgiving up to 10 million or 10,000, $10,000 worth of student loan debt, which is, a step in the right direction. But before, he was when he was running in the primaries, if I'm not mistaken, before he was actually president, he was talking about how, forgiving $50,000 of student loan debt was where he was shooting for. And he backtracked on that. And, again, it's important to push him on these matters, because to me, he should just wipe it out all together. And that's, I can go on. I mean, that's universal health care. I mean, he lowered the age down from 65 to 60 to receive universal health care. But now he needs to take the measure where all people are provided health care. He's talked about the $15 minimum wage, and hopefully he's able to get that through. And I mean, these are bold policies that maybe he does not agree with overall. But again, he's taking that step in the right direction, and it's important that he has a makeup of people who serve in his cabinet to reflect that. And why I don't agree with a lot of his picks in this cabinet, he does have good picks, some good picks. So again, the job that I'm giving him so far is it's okay. It's just, again, I have to see more I have to see more as time progresses. But I think him keeping, I think he needs to keep going in the big bold policy direction. Reoccurring relief checks to stimulate the economy. Uh, Holding off rent and mortgage payments until the pandemic's over with. Um, you know, the relief packages, it does more than just stimulate the economy. It's not all about that, and it's about actually helping people, and people will maybe for a change be able to save money. So a lot of people in this country don't even have a savings. They have a savings account, but they don't have any money in their savings account. I mean, it just it's just something about this not right, especially when you're able to give corporate bailout money and corporate tax cuts to the wealthy, and people at the bottom are making starvation wages and not receiving any kind of care, and they're out here working and putting their life on the line, meaning risking catching COVID or whatever the case may be, in these trying times, and it just seems like not getting any kind of reward for it. But Biden has signed executive orders. He has been putting plan into action, and hopefully, as his term progresses, he progresses. We're going to take a quick break, guys. After we come back, I'm going to give you details on this CNBC Health and Science article that I found was very, very fascinating. I'm going to share that with you guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? We're back here on The Progressive Vibe with your host, Dottie here. So, we're coming back from off break, and I was talking about my thoughts on Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, and how the job he was doing so far. So, we're going to get into the next little segment that I want to talk to you guys about. And it was just details on this CNBC Health and Science article. And it just reads, Biden says nothing can change the trajectory of the COVID pandemic over the next several months. It's really not a shocker because everything that didn't led up to like this exact moment. Like we finally have somebody that's at least willing to listen to science and trust science and understands facts to I don't want to say certain extent, because Joe Biden has not did anything so far for me to be like, oh man, he just literally lied on national television. That could change, but as of now, it's not looking as such. It's looking like, again, he's going by the science and nothing but the science. My hat's off for, yes, listening to the scientists. I mean, that sounds so small, but in retrospect, it's kind of not, because again, we haven't been really taking science all that serious, and data and factual evidence. We haven't been really caring about that in the last 4 years. So it's kind of refreshing to see, even though it should be something that's already a given, but it's really refreshing to see someone actually leading. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get into this article that I had for you guys, and it's just pretty much just going over the COVID situation. Again, it reads, Biden says nothing can change the trajectory of the COVID pandemic over the next several months. And it is written by Noah Higgins Dunn. So I wanted to give that proper citation out. I'm going to go ahead and read this, guys. And it says, President Joe Biden has painted a bleak picture of the nation's coronavirus outbreak in his first few days in office, warning that it will take months to turn around and the pandemic's trajectory, and that fatalities are expected to dramatically rise over the next few weeks. It's really not that surprising because, as we've seen, the trajectory has been in a upward motion of deaths, and I think the case count came down a little bit, but the trajectory in deaths have been steadily rising. So I'm going to keep on reading here. It says, quote, a lot of America is hurting. The virus is surging. We're 400,000 dead, expected to reach well over 600,000, end quote. Biden said on Friday before signing 2 executive orders designed to reduce hunger and bolster workers' rights amid the pandemic. Kind of talked about that a little bit in the last segment. I'm going to keep reading here, guys. It says the U.S. surpassed 400,000 total COVID-19 deaths on Tuesday, with a quarter of those coming over the previous 36 days, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. On Biden's first full day as president on Thursday, he told reporters following a meeting with his COVID-19 advisors, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, that the nation would likely top 500,000 COVID-19 deaths in February. It goes on to say Biden warned on Friday that as the outbreak continued, quote, there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, end quote. The president has repeatedly warned that the situation is likely to worsen before it improves, which is correct. While it wasn't immediately made clear what projections Biden was referencing, one key projection from Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation estimates that the U.S. could reach 600,000 COVID-19 deaths by March if states were to ease social distancing mandates. However, the model's current projections show COVID-19 deaths plateauing just above 560,000 COVID-19 deaths by late April. I mean, no matter how you slice that, guys, it's just horrible. And again, it said that, you know, if states were to ease social distancing mandates, that, you know, it could reach an estimate up to 600,000, you know, COVID-19 deaths. And I won't be surprised if we actually make it there, because as we know, I mean, like one of the, I'm going to use my state, for example. It's just so easy to put my state in, use my state as an example in this scenario, because the social distancing mandate is lacking in my state. We kind of really never, as a whole, abided by it in the first place, because people are so concerned about drinking a beer or taking a shot at the bar, or going out and eating food. These type of things in my state are more important than actually diminishing the COVID-19 impact by social distancing, by staying at home, by wearing your mask. All these little simple things. It just, as a whole, my state, guys, we just don't do it, but we're not the only ones, and that's unfortunate that it's just like a whole group of states just like, yeah, 600,000 deaths by April, oh, okay, well, football season's coming up. You know what I mean? Like, just don't give a damn, it's crazy, man. I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of this, guys. There's not too much more. It says a spokesperson for the Biden administration was not immediately available for comment regarding the president's projections. If you guys want to see the daily new coronavirus cases, it's a chart board. It is on, again, it's CNBC.com, and it's Health and Science. So if you guys want to see the chart on that, you can see the trajectory of the cases going up from March of last year all the way up to January of this year. And it goes to say the United States has reported a decline in COVID-19 cases in the recent days, a glimmer of hope following a surge since the fall and through the winter holiday season. The U.S. is reporting an average of roughly 187,593 new, according to a CNBC analysis of Johns Hopkins data. I'm going to skip a little bit of this. It says, however, the nation is still, quote, in a very serious situation, end quote, Fauci said during his first White House press briefing appearance under the new administration on Thursday, noting the country's high death toll and strained hospital capacity. Last thing here, guys, Fauci said that the daily number of cases based on a weekly average appears to be plateauing and turning around. It's possible that the dip could still be because of a reduced reporting following the holidays, he added. So, I mean, the only reason I'm just reading his body language and kind of how he's phrasing things. He's saying that, yeah, the COVID cases are down since the last few days, but the projection of the holidays, the numbers over the holiday season have not came in yet. And we know people traveled and this and that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see the cases tick back up. It wouldn't surprise me if we see more add-ons to the death total. It's unfortunate, and it's, I'm glad that, again, Biden is taking, him and his administration is taking certain measures to finally combat this. It's going to take a while because obviously things don't happen overnight. It would be nice if it would. But again, it just goes to me to tell Biden and his administration that do not take these 2 years lightly. And when I mean 2 years, I mean we have 2 years into a Republican primary, and we can't just sit on Biden administration can't just sit on their hands and twiddle their thumbs for these 2 years and do nothing but say that they're combating the pandemic. And again, he's taking measures. He's signing executive orders and things like that to show that he is, again, willing to work with the American people and make progression. And I just think that he needs more. And hopefully Kamala, the vice president, hopefully She knows this as well. Hopefully, the people who Biden is seeking, what would you say, political help from, maybe from, I'm pretty sure, from Obama, mostly, since, he was Obama's vice president. It wouldn't surprise me if he was to call Obama up and ask him certain, certain questions, concerning his presidency. So hopefully Obama has a grip on reality, which I feel like he always has. He just wasn't the progressive type of president that I wanted back in 2008, but it was a lot of stuff going on. 2008 is definitely different than 2021. But at the same time, when is it ever a right time to be progressive? I think it's always a room for improvement. To me, that's what the whole progressive motto is about. And I wish that Obama would have did a lot more stuff, would have been willing to play hardball a little bit more than he did when he was president. Again, I'm a Obama fan. I liked Obama when he was president, and again, I have my critiques, as I do every president. But again, I'm all about having people in leadership who's at least willing and are able to be persuaded in some retrospects to do obviously the right thing. And it seems like Biden is making his way towards that. Biden has been, to me, he's been a conservative Democrat. If you look at his past resume in Congress, he's always been a Democrat, registered as a Democrat, but who's to say, he wouldn't be a very, very moderate Republican, just history shows us that. And it's kind of showing us with some of the language that he's using with the whole, me being able to work across party lines and, we're going to get back to decency and, we got to unify if we're going to ever get somewhere and all this and all that. And again, I'm not saying that what Biden, because Biden is a very passionate person and I respect that, but you can't let that overload your thought process in carrying out the people's agenda. And the people who spoke, and a lot of stuff that he needs to consider are bold progressive measures. They just are. And it's obvious that the country has leaned a little bit more progressive than over the years, which is a good thing. And so I think it's now time for the party overall to make that necessary switch, especially what you had Trump show us in the 4 years of his presidency. He had power. He was the president. He was the legitimate president over those 4 years. And, he pretty much did what he wanted to damn do. Him and his party. And so all this stuff about, the Republicans saying that, don't abolish the filibuster and all this stuff, and we shouldn't do things through reconciliation. No. we're going to do stuff through reconciliation. That's what Biden needs to tell his colleagues on the other side of the aisle, because it's going to get done that way. Because the Republicans did it when they found it necessary to do so when they were in power. So it's a reason why, again, the Democrats, I'm going to close out on this, the Democrats need to read the writing on the wall, and they have control of all three branches of government, and they should not sit on their hands and twiddle their thumbs and just talk the talk. They need to walk the walk, because it's very, very possible that history has shown us in the past that the Democrats just go on to lose over the next 2 years to the Republicans. Whether that's them getting back the House, the Senate, or both. So it's obvious what the American people want. And I understand that it's a lot of Democrats, I'm not going to call no names, but it's obvious that a lot of Democrats are corporatist, and they lobby, and they have donors that they cater to, and certain things like universal health care and Green New Deal and UBI, universal basic income. We're going to have that discussion, mark my words. But things like this, progressive agendas, tuition-free college, it's going to come up, and it's already came up. But what I mean is, it's not going away. Is what I meant to say. It's just not going away, and this is what the majority of people want in both parties, might add. And it might be more slimmer in the Republican Party, but it's still a majority of folks, for example, want another relief bill in the Republican Party. Or it's a majority of Republicans want to see an increasage of minimum wage. Things like that. And it's apparent that the Democrats who are in power put these bills forth and hold the Republicans' feet to the fire and say, hey guys, this is what, the person who you sent to Congress, this is what they're doing. They're holding up legislation that can help benefit you guys. And, your own party is saying that you want this, and they're holding it back from you. So they got to start playing hardball. And I mean Democrats. They need to start playing a little bit more hardball, and they need to start being a little bit more bold and aggressive with their agenda. Meaning Biden. So, yeah, guys, I'm going to keep it there on that. Again, the article is called CNBC Health and Science. Biden says nothing can change the trajectory of the COVID pandemic over the next several months. And it's by Noah Higgins Dunn. So again, guys, if you want to read the details on that, that is the information for that article. When we come back from break, we're going to do the vent forum. I'm going to read a little social media. And after that, we're going to close out the show. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? We're back here on The Progressive Vibe with your host, Dottie here. And this is the vent forum of the podcast. Just a little social media break where I'll read some Twitter posts out loud to you guys. Things that I think is maybe a little interesting, maybe a little funny. Here's the first one, People for Bernie. It says, Bernie shifts conversation from memes to Meals on Wheels in 5 seconds, which was pretty cool and pretty awesome. If you guys didn't know, Bernie came on CNN earlier this morning on State of the Union, and at the end of the questions that he took from the host of that show, they were just talking about the memes and how he blew up and He blew up so big that they were actually starting to sell merchandise and things like that. So in the midst of all that, Bernie turned it around and said, we're gonna just everything that we collect from this, it's awesome and all that, but we're gonna donate 100% of the proceedings to Meals on Wheels of his state. So all those proceedings are going to help combat food hunger in his state, and it just speaks to the person who he is, and it's just why I got so much love for him, honestly. The next one, go down here and see what we got here. This is from the Progressive Column. ReallyAmerica.com said, describe Megyn Kelly in one word. And the Progressive Column retweeted that and said, who? So that was pretty funny. That was a good one. Last one here. Let me see. What we got. I'm just scrolling, guys, because I see a bunch of NFL stuff, and which I'm going to be watching the playoffs after I get done with this podcast. So there's that. Okay, here's the last one right here. It's by Dr. J_3 Club. Says things Republicans repeatedly say they are against: healthcare, relief for COVID, money for schools, renewable energy, living wage, corporate accountability, environmental protection, any gun laws, and he put in quotes, or they put in quotes, gun owner here, diversity/inclusion, higher education, accountability, and democracy itself. Well put. That concludes our little social media break. This was the Vent Forum. If you liked those tweets, maybe you should follow those Twitter handles that I shouted out. So yeah, guys, stay tuned for the closeout of the show, and we'll be right back after this break. What's going on, guys? This is the Progressive Vibe. This is the closeout of the show. It's been a hell of a show, as always. Thank you so much, guys, for your consistent support and listenership. And thanks for sharing. I just like doing what I do, guys. Again, it's not called the Progressive Vibe for nothing. It's literally a vibe, and I'm glad you guys seem to vibe with it as well. Where you can follow me at is Twitter, and that's at Dottie_vibe, DODI_vibe. And if you want to email me with any kind of questions or have any kind of personal opinions or anything in that nature, you guys can email me. I have a new email. It is Dodrick King, that's my first and last name, at gmail.com. How to spell that? DODRICK. And last name is King, King. That's Dodrick King at gmail.com. Again, all the shout outs goes to you guys. per usual. Um, Nothing but love, guys. Until the next time, every Sunday at 4 p.m., we're going to hopefully be back then. Everybody stay safe. Everybody wear your mask. Stay positive. Stay progressive. Catch y'all in the next one. Welcome to the Progressive Vibe. I'm your host, Dottie here. Today is February 7th, 2021, Season 3, Episode 5. The title of this episode is Wages in Stages. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone had a great week, is having a great weekend. I wanted to give you guys some information on this CNBC article that reads a $15 federal minimum wage is out of the latest stimulus packages, or the latest stimulus package for now. Before I get into that, I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Democrats supporting the $15 federal minimum wage, but are really not even fighting for it as hard as they should be, in my opinion, in this latest COVID relief package. So, first things first, the federal minimum wage has been $7.25 since 2009. If we would have kept up with productivity rates, people would be making at least $24 an hour by now. So, honestly, $15 an hour could be more. But baby steps, and it seems like we can't even really even get the baby steps accomplished by some Democrats and Republicans that choose to put their own interest first. And when I mean own interest, I mean their donors, people who buy them off to vote in a certain way. And yeah, they should be called out. They should be held accountable, because people are working hard and are getting starvation wages. And I don't know about you, but I don't care if you're just a single person with no kids, or without a wife or whatever, a husband, whatever the case may be. Nobody can't make it with $7.25. The way that society is constructed. So that has to change, and it has to change soon. And I'm a little bit disappointed that President Biden supports the idea, but isn't really fighting for the idea. So um, again, I don't know where it leads. It says for now, so I'm expecting it to get brought up very very soon. But to me, by not including it in this COVID relief package was a huge missed opportunity. Um, Senator Bernie Sanders, chairman of the budget committee, um, his stance is the Raise the Wage Act, and it just technically means um, increasing the federal minimum wage to $15 gradually um, towards 2025. So, 2025. I mean, all states should be the requirement should be $15 minimum. You know, that's a huge deal, and Bernie's working with what he's given, and as well as the progressive Democrats in the House. You know, I just feel like 2025, I feel like people should be making more than $15 an hour. We're in 2021, and people are making $7.25. And if 2025 if things keep going up the way it's going up, I mean, bills, insurance, etc. I think that the wages should be higher by that point. But the fact that Bernie and a few others seems to be, as supposedly well as President Biden, is fighting for increasage of minimum wage is a good thing. But again, I wish that they would have fought a little bit harder in this COVID relief package to include that, and to include $2,000 checks. It's going to be $1,400 in this at this relief package. Anything's better than nothing, because when people are desperate, people are hungry and try to feed their families, and on the verge of getting evicted from their apartment or their homes or whatever the case may be. Anything's better than nothing, and so I don't want you guys to think that I'm just being ungrateful or sounding ungrateful, because I'm not. It's just people ain't stupid. And if you tell people that you're going to do $2,000 checks, then you should do $2,000 checks. And, I'm hearing that the Republicans are talking, biting down on the salary requirement that you would need to get these relief checks. Republican wishes are like, if you're single and making $50,000, then you wouldn't qualify for the relief checks. If you're a couple making $150,000, then you would not be able to qualify for the relief checks. I personally think that would be bad politically, because last year when the relief checks passed under Trump, people in those annual salary brackets were getting the relief checks. So people who were making $50,000 single, couples who were making $150,000 a year, they were entitled to get those checks. And so I'm hoping that the Democrats won't take that bait and keep everything the way that it is. I mean, obviously, there should be some thresholds. Like if you're making like $300,000 a year or something like that, then obviously I'm assuming you wouldn't qualify for, the relief package. But, we should keep it how the Republicans kept it under Trump when they passed a relief bill. And I feel like that would be a hard argument to dispute if the Democrats were to bring that up. So I wanted to take a quick break, guys. After we come back after this break, I was going to read you the CNBC article and, see what you guys' thoughts are after that. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show, everyone. CNBC article: a $15 minimum wage is out of the latest stimulus package for now. This piece is written by Carmen Reinecke. So to get right into it, guys, Senate Democrats passed a budget resolution early Friday, the latest step towards approving President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus plan by a simple majority without Republican votes. Not all of Biden's proposal remained intact. On the chopping block, at least for now, is the $15 federal minimum wage. Goes on to say the plan is to raise the federal minimum wage, which has been $7.25 an hour since 2019, as we talked about earlier, was removed after senators backed an amendment from Senator Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa. She proposed prohibiting the increase in the federal minimum wage during the pandemic when many small businesses are suffering. To me, that should speak on why you would need to support these measures. But anyway, she said, quote, a $15 federal minimum wage would be devastating for our hardest hit small businesses at a time when they can least afford it, end quote, said Ernst on the Senate floor. She says, quote, we should not have a one-size-fit-all policy set by Washington politicians, end quote. She also goes on to say, quote, we all support higher wages, but a $15 federal minimum wage would be counterproductive, end quote. In a surprise, Senator Bernie Sanders supported Ernst's amendment, which is non-binding. He spoke on the amendment to clarify that his plan detailed in the Raise the Wage Act is to gradually raise the federal minimum wage to reach $15 an hour in 2025, not immediately increase wages during the pandemic. Which he's already stated, by the way, guys, on several occasions. That's why I feel like it was really a clever thing for him to support the amendment, because that's not even what he was talking about. But anyway, he goes on to say, quote, I would support this amendment because nobody is talking about doubling the federal minimum wage during the pandemic, he said. Quote, we are talking about gradually phasing it in over a 5-year period, end quote. He also said that he will do everything he can to make sure that a $15 federal minimum wage is ultimately included in the budget reconciliation bill. To pass the budget reconciliation in the Senate, however, it would require the unanimous support of all 50 Democratic senators. Currently, it does not have all the votes it would need to pass. Democrat Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia opposes it. Still, the push to approve legislation raising the federal minimum wage is far from over. On Thursday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said during a news conference that a $15 minimum wage is a very high priority for Democrats. She says, quote, "It does not mean it won't happen just because it won't happen there," end quote. She said, "There's so much in the package that has to be done right now, and we'll do the best we can." So my thing is, and that was in an article, by the way. So my thing is, don't bring it up as your agenda to get accomplished if you're not going to do it right now. That's my thing. I'm totally okay with the whole it doesn't mean it won't happen just because it won't happen there. Okay, that's fine, but the fact that it said it was going to happen, that's where the problem lies in that. So we have to be specific on these things, because the American people don't hear that, oh, we're doesn't mean that we're not gonna pass it. We're just not gonna pass in this bill because we're just so overwhelmed with this COVID relief package that, we can't get everything that we need to get in it. Okay. But don't have that as an agenda, an immediate agenda. I understand that you want to go ahead and pass this COVID relief package and all that, but you're trying to get all these things completed within 100 days. So you have to move the ball forward somehow. And you know that people in your own party, like Senator Joe Manchin, opposes it. And you have a vast majority of Republicans that opposes it. So we got to get on the ball and start moving this conversation forward quickly, in a quickly manner, because the people aren't going to wait. You can't promise things and then only partial deliver on things. You can't do that. Prime example, the two senators that got elected, the Democratic senators that got elected in Georgia, ran on relief checks. Just plain and simple. And that the opposition was not supporting the relief checks. Well, guess what? They won. And guess what? Still no relief checks. And so that's how you get people to not want to be involved in the voting process or get involved in politics, because constantly it seems like the goalpost is being moved, whether that's on the Republican side or the Democratic side. And if the Democrats, I'm going to leave it at this right here, guys. If the Democrats are going to talk the talk, eventually you're going to start to have to walk the walk. And if you don't, then, as history has shown, then you will lose your seat of power. It's just that plain and simple. Again, 2022 is right around the corner, guys. The primaries is right around the corner. And the opposition party is just itching to exploit things that the Democrats said that they were going to do, but they allowed the Republicans to slow their process down. And they can't allow that to happen. Because again, if the American people elected you guys to get, if American people gave you control of all three branches of government, then you have to speak to the wishes and needs and deliver these promises. I mean, if not, then why are you in positions of power? Why are you saying that you're going to do these things and you're not going to do them? Not saying that they aren't going to do them, because I believe in my heart of hearts that they are. But this constant move of the goalpost, like you can just like rewind time, is just not a thing. And it's only thing it's going to do is furtherly upset people who have supported you since day one, or people who have made that transition from another party to the Democratic Party. You're not giving them any reasons to stay within that party. And again, you're kind of just feeding into what the opposition party wants. When we get back, guys, we're going to have the vent forum of the podcast, social media break, in other words. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back, guys. Hey guys, we're back here on the Progressive Vibe. This is the vent forum of the podcast. Just reading a couple of social media posts, and we're going to get back to standard programming, I guess, if you will. This is by J_lies. A failed state is when you have a space force before you have universal health care. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I gotta like that. Let's see. This is Tim Ryan, representative out of Ohio. I think 13th district, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he's a representative out of Ohio, Democratic representative. He says, I think the check should be $2,000 and they should be monthly. Retweet if you agree. I think that is telling, because Tim Ryan is a very, I'm not going to say very, but Tim Ryan, I'll say, is a conservative Democrat. And, long before he just came out with this, because this was my first time seeing that he stated $2,000 monthly checks. It's been a thing with the Justice Democrats, with the more progressive side of the party, but obviously the more the merrier. And I agree with Tim Ryan. They should be $2,000, and they should be reoccurring payments. At least till the pandemic's over and the economy is back on its feet, as well as Americans. Let's see here. Robert Rich reads, Walmart and Amazon took home $29.7 billion in profits last year. Call me a radical lefty, but we should tax the corporations profited during the pandemic and use the revenue to bail out the American people. Couldn't have said that any better. Couldn't have said that any better. It's amazing how it's just amazing how all these corporations are able to profit during a pandemic, and the corporations who need people to work in their establishments are the main ones that are getting screwed over. But I agree with Robert Rich on that. It's about time for the rich to start paying their fair share of taxes. It's nothing new. I mean, the only thing is it going to actually be implemented in the future? So only time will tell. I'm hoping so. So yeah, I don't think I see anything that else catches my eye. So we're gonna wrap this vent forum up. After we come back from the break, we're gonna wrap up the show, guys. And yeah, I hope you love my vent. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? We're back here on the Progressive Vibe. That's going to do it for today's show today. Hope you guys had a blast. I sure did. You guys can catch me every Sunday at 4 p.m. I was a little late, unfortunately, last week, so I do apologize for that. But yes, you can catch me every Sunday at 4 p.m. You can also catch me on social media, preferably Twitter, Dottie_Vibe. That's at DODI_VIBE. You can also email me at first name, last name, DodrickKing@gmail.com. DODRICKKING@gmail.com. My shout outs, as usual, goes to you guys, the listeners out there. I appreciate everything. I love that you guys continue to listen every week. It makes me feel like I'm at least providing some sort of information that's useful for you guys. So I appreciate that. Hope you tune in next week. Thank you guys for also sharing my podcast. When you share it, it just goes out to just different platforms abroad. I mean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public, etc. So I really, really do appreciate that. I have one other article. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to post it with the other article that I read earlier in today's program. It reads, Oregon is to decriminalize all drugs offers treatment instead of incarceration. So it seems like Oregon is going to pass through a measure. It was Measure 10, and if you guys didn't know what Measure 10 was, it was a measure that decriminalizes drugs in the state of Oregon and will provide treatment instead of incarceration. So it's a really, really good feel-good story. It's a lady, recovering addict named Jenny Gullison. She shared her story. It was pretty remarkable. And now she's the executive director of the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon. So she not only beat her addiction, but she's able to be in a position where she's able to help other addicts. So definitely a feel good story. I'll post it so you guys can read it if you like. That does it for today's show, guys. I'm gonna leave you on this message. Stay positive, stay progressive, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.